It's like being hugged by your mom all the time. It's the most comfortable place in the world, and you don't want to leave it. Even though it's creating all this damage, you don't want to leave it.
Remember the first drink?
Yeah. Yeah, I was really young. I was in 6th grade, and I was hanging out with some older, 8th graders and freshmen. And we had stole some of those little bottles from the gas station, those little travel bottles. One time before football practice in sixth grade, we were over at a friend's house and we started drinking for some odd reason. I don't know what it was, but we went to football practice in 6th grade drunk. And I can remember it, and it was just, you look back and you kind of cringe, like, what was I doing? What made me do that? Why would I want to do that? And the risk of getting in trouble was huge, and it's just scary. The next year in 7th grade, I was smoking pot already, and by the time I hit high school, I was doing pills, and then by the time I left high school, I was doing heroin. To me back then, I would call it adventure. To me now, it's stupidity, but I always wanted to try that next thing. I always wanted to, try and not get caught for this, and I always wanted something more.
Remember the first time you did heroin?
Yeah, I do. I couldn't find pills anywhere. I couldn't find them anywhere, and I always had this notion like heroin's bad. It's terrible. You can't do that. It's poison. Why would you ever do that? The guy I was getting my pills from was like, heroin's the same thing. It's just a lot cheaper. And I crossed that boundary, and once I crossed into saying yes to that, it's like, well, I'm not really going to say no to anything else. And that first time, it was just, it's like, wow, this is it. This is what I want. I don't want pills anymore. I don't want this. I want this. That's what it's like to be an addict. You always have something pulling you, and something asking you to do this and making you do things you never want to do, but you have to because you need to get high, because if you don't get high, that voice it'll kill you. I never believed I was addicted. I never believed that it had a hold of me. I always thought that it was, my right as a high schooler, or my right as a kid to be able to do this stuff.
Do you remember the first jail cell?
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. I always pictured myself as this, tough, rugged dude that could handle anything, and going to jail the first time, it was scary, but I had to hold composure because I didn't want people to see me scared. I didn't want that vulnerability. So I sat there and I, acted like a man and felt like a kid, because I didn't know what to do. I had never been in a situation like that. And you hear that jail cell lock behind you, it's like, all right, this is real. I can't get out of this. I can't run away from this. I can't hide from this. I can't call my parents to help me with this. You learn to deal with it, and after the first time of getting in there, the second, third, fourth, fifth time going in there, it just becomes normal. We never learned what happened after the drugs. We knew that heroin was bad and that it could kill you. We knew that, doing acid was bad and it can kill you, but we never knew why. We didn't see the consequences. We didn't see the effects on the families. We didn't see how much damage it did or how much addicts hated their lives. We never saw any of that. Every once in a while, that facade and that drug barrier, it'll crack, and you'll feel the things you weren't supposed to feel, and you'll start to know what you're doing, and you'll start to know the pain that you're causing, and it becomes too much. And when drugs aren't there to help you through it, and your family is the one you're hurting, so you can't have them help you through it, you find any way you can to get out of it. And we had tried multiple different treatments, our family, and nothing was working, so I didn't think being sober would ever be possible. I didn't think, getting out of this would ever be possible. So I started to wonder if my only way out of this would be death. Maybe if I die, maybe my family can finally get some peace. Maybe if I die, maybe my family can finally lead the lives they were supposed to lead without me having to drag them down anymore. And I believed it to my core. I thought that was my only way out. And I'd wake up in the morning wondering, why am I still here? What's the point? I have nothing here anymore. I've done too much damage. I can't come back from this. And I would start to pray that I wouldn't make it to the next day. And I knew I was hurting people, but I was a coward and I hid in drugs. I just became numb to the world. I was on the verge of taking my own life when I got a call from my family giving me, an ultimatum to go to treatment or never see him again. And that changed everything. So one of the hardest things going into treatment was learning how to feel again. Learning how to feel sadness and feel hatred and regret and shame, and having to feel all that without drugs to help you. I had to write my own obituary and I had to feel that entire thing, and it was terrifying. Every time that I started to feel, I wanted to run. I wanted to go back to drugs because I didn't want to feel those feelings. You have to learn how to revive that. You have to learn how to have fun again and be able to have friends that you can trust. And once that got a hold of me, once I learned the basics of having fun and having friends again, everything changed. I wanted it. I wanted to stay sober. I wanted to be that person.
What do you feel about your future now?
The possibilities are endless. When I was using, I never thought of a future. The things I've accomplished since I've been sober are things that I never thought would be possible. I'm married, I have a son, I have my own business, plus I partner on another. Things are awesome, and it's only because I'm sober.
Do you ever get scared?
All the time. Fear is part of what drives me, because there's times that I'll look back and I'll cringe at some of the stuff I've done, and there's times that I will think, well, it's not that bad. Maybe I can just have a drink. Maybe I can just do that. And then you start to look back, like, if I do this, what's going to happen? I'm going to lose my son. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose it. None of it's worth it.
When you look into the eyes of parents where their child didn't make it, how does it make you feel?
Regret. It's, the hardest question is, why am I here? Why did I survive? I went through this for 11 years of using drugs and crashing cars and hurting people, and why did I survive? When, this family comes up to me and said, my son used for 6 months and he's now dead, he's 14 years old. How do you take that? How can you not take that personally? Not against them, but against yourself. You start to look inside yourself and be like, why are you here? What makes you so special? And, you create a resentment against yourself.
If I was a user, what would you say to me?
I would tell you to look through the excuses, look past self-doubt, look past how low you think you are, and look past being hopeless. There's always hope. A lot of people end up dead before they get the chance to go into treatment. A lot of people lose their families before they get the chance to get help. Do everything in your power to want to change, because change creates such a better life.